We got an awesome car today. This is a 1962 Rambler Classic Deluxe that was parked and abandoned 47 years ago. Thing's got 1975 plates on it. We're gonna see if we can get it running. So this car is actually down near Austin, Texas, and it came from the estate of a guy who had, from my understanding, dozens of these, and when this place got cleaned out, this one was one of the nicer ones, so it was pulled off to the side, and the people that took care of that actually put sold on one of the windows to make sure that people that were coming in to clean up trash didn't accidentally take it to the crusher. So that's good, because this is a really solid car, definitely worth saving. Check out the license plates up here. 1975. Chips wasn't even on the air yet. There's two worst spots on this car. The first one is this big old dent right here in the hood, which we could probably get that out. I'm gonna go ahead and say that was probably hitting a mailbox. And then this right here on the corner, that one's kind of nasty. I don't know, dumpster maybe? But check out the glass on this car. It's one thing I want to show you is the glass. It's almost perfect. There's this one little spot right there in the windshield, but the rest of it, it's all intact. There's no cracks, there's no big scratches. It's absolutely beautiful. And since we're over here, I'll show you this. This is cool. So in 61, these cars, this here, the upper corner of the rear window would have been more pointed, like a sharp corner, and then in 62, they rounded it off. And 61 and 62 is actually the first generation of this Rambler. And it's kind of a funny thing because a lot of people would probably call this an AMC Rambler, which when Hudson and Nash merged and made AMC, there was a Rambler line. But by this time, when this generation Rambler came around, AMC made Rambler its own brand. So the make of this car is, yes, it was made by AMC, but the make is Rambler. The model is Classic, which you can see with the badging here. And then there's a Deluxe badge on the trunk. That's the trim package, which unfortunately is the lowest trim package. But what's really exciting is this could have the push button automatic. In 61 you could have got a V8. In 62 you couldn't. So it's a 196 straight six, but it could be the optional aluminum straight six. And I can't even tell you right now if there, well, I can tell you there's a motor in the car because I saw an oil pan that was underneath it hooking up the chain, but I've never opened the hood. I only saw a couple pictures before I went to get this car. When the guy told me it had good glass and all four hubcaps, I just shimmied down the interstate and picked her up. I would say this car is about 98% complete. And I say 98 because the antenna's missing, which it could be in the car. And I think half the rear seat is missing. I think the mice got half of that. And, oh, and we don't have a key, which that could be in the car, but we can't even dig into the car and see everything yet and search for a key because the car's actually trapped on the trailer right now. It's on 3 flats and the right rear is locked up. And so the only way that I could get it off the trailer to do this on the garage floor would be if I bought a brand new set of tires, put them on the trailer, and then I could roll the car off the trailer. But let's be honest here, tires aren't cheap. So a guy wants to get this thing running first and make sure it's going to be something that we can get back on the road in a timely manner here, and then we'll invest in the tires. Well, I guess we could pop this door open. She must be locked or jammed or something. In a minute, we'll try on the other side. I was actually able to winch the car towards the back of the trailer a little bit so that I could get the garage door closed down far enough to block the blazing sun from coming in here. Driver's side headlight bezels are in a lot better shape. It's easy to fix. I didn't notice this dent here until just now. Little one here too, that's not bad though, we could probably fix that. The grille is dang near completely mint. You don't see that every day. It's gorgeous. And the paint, it looks to me like it was white from the factory and then somebody put blue over it. That's what it looks like to me. It's gonna be pretty cool though when we clean her up and maybe sand her down a little bit. What's cool too is that all 4 tires on this car are all 1970s Goodyear power cushion bias plies. And then there's where it says sold. And this car also, it could have, I'm looking at the exhaust here, reminded me that these cars, there was an option you can get for, I believe they called it the armored ceramic or ceramic armored muffler or something like that. I don't know if they're any good or not, but look how solid that is. It's pretty cool how the back of these cars look like it could be the front of a car. I always thought that's pretty cool. And one thing to note about this car is the lack of tail fins. So the 61 would have had fins, and then in 62, they got rid of them. You can see how flat that trunk lid is. You could easily set your cold drinks up here. Rambler was one of the last brands to adopt the big tail fins, and they were also one of the first to get rid of them. Again, we got the wraparound chrome bumper on the rear, just like up on the front. And the tail lights are cool too on these cars. Kind of 64 Ford Galaxy 500-esque, maybe? I don't know, what are your thoughts on that? Let's see if we can't get this door open. Now, I have not dug around this car at all. Just driver's door enough just to turn the wheel, and I've peeked through the windows a teeny tiny bit. Have not seen much of anything at all. Oh, door panel stuck. Oh, man, if you could smell that. Oh, there's gotta be a dead raccoon or something in here. That's bad. That is horrible. Solid rocker panel though. Back of the seats are nice. Look at that headliner though. That is snazzy. Oh hey, I think that's the air cleaner. Perfect. This is looking pretty good. I think we can get the driver's door open a little bit, so might as well take a little peeky peek up front before we try to get this thing fired up. And man, don't you just love those door handles? Those things are sweet. See, it is blue over white. If we can get, if there's a tag in here, we can get the numbers off. Well, we're not going to be able to open the door enough, but we could find out what this white is. And, well, we'll probably never find out exactly what that blue is, but again, solid rocker panel. The threshold piece is there. And we got, do we have the push button flash-o-matic? We do. Sweet. Where are you? The heck are they on these things? It's been a while. Oh yeah, right here. That's where they are. Seems like these 61 and 62 Ramblers, seems like every time I find them abandoned like this, that latch gives me, it's kind of hard to get your finger in there. There we go. Oh, secondary latch. All right, moment of truth. come on. Where'd you go? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. All right, what do we got to work with? Wow. This is good. Well, this is not what you'd typically expect under the hood of a car that's been abandoned for 47 years. This looks pretty much complete at first glance. I mean, we've even got 2 radiator hoses. Well, I guess we're missing the fan belt. Oh, that's cool. There's a broken chunk stuck in the pulley. It's a good thing that turns. Oh, and it's got the rare Rambler drag racing clipped fan for less drag and more horsepower. I think this is too good to be true. We got a distributor. See the vacuum advance is hooked up. Coil. There's the big old Rambler fuel pump. We got mismatched wires, but we got 6 wires. Original carburetor, I believe. It's either a Holly or a Carter. I'm not sure. Comment about that if you know. A little bit of mouse nest. Is that a Velveeta shells and cheese shell, or is that a snail shell? What do we got here? Didn't even notice this. Well, that's fuel. I bet you that goes... Well, what were they doing here? Yeah, what were they? That's your fuel line. And then that's your vacuum advance, which probably goes right there. Yep, it goes right there. And then, well, let's follow those real quick. Oh, it's all hooked up. There's the big old Rambler fuel pump. There's the vacuum advance. On the distributor, which is present. We'll have to get that cap off and see what that looks like. Check out the points. We got a coil. Everything's wired up. The wires look good. Let's not even pull that trans stick yet. Let's not even get into that. Oh, that horn looks like it probably sounds good. You know I'm a stickler for good sounding horns. And this is not the aluminum 196. This is the cast iron version, which is fine. A little bit of seepage between the block and the head. But yeah, the aluminum and the cast iron version, same horsepower, 127 or 130, something like that. But the aluminum version, I believe, is 80 pounds lighter, 80 some pounds. Battery tray is solid. Look at that, it's unbelievable. Battery cables have seen better days. That starter and solenoid is massive. So is the generator, and everything's wired up. That is great news. Oh, note the dual master cylinder. That's cool. Rambler was one of the first, well, maybe not one of the first, but one of the few brands at the time to offer that dual circuit braking for improved safety, which is kind of neat because it's not something you'd really expect on a $2,000 mid-size economy car. Let's check on the oil. Now that's a dipstick. Look at that thing. It's right where it needs to be. Looks great, clean, smells great. I'm beginning to think maybe someone, I don't know, got home from the grocery store and just parked this thing. I'm gonna pull a plug wire and see what kind of plugs we have. They're the green ones. I'm telling you. Somebody was driving this thing one day and then just parked it. Let's pop the distributor cap off and see what that looks like. It's spotless. This is just This is just beautiful. Pull a spark plug out for the first time in 47 years, as far as we know. Oh, by the way, if you look at this engine and then you compare it to Nash engines, you'll notice it's a Nash designed engine, or it looks very similar. Remember those two companies, Nash and Hudson, merged to make AMC? Remember, we still don't know if this engine is locked up or if it's free. I think we're gonna play it safe. We'll pull the rest of the plugs out, squirt some lube in the holes, and then we'll put a wrench on the crank and see if we can get it to move. So here's our spark plugs in order we took them out from front to back. And after seeing what the spark plugs in the 67 C10 step side went through and still ran, this does not bother me a bit. So let's get some Whiskey Delta in those cylinders. And did you know that if you shake this stuff up, it works better? It actually says it on the can. Sometimes it pays to read. Come on, get in the hole. We're gonna assume the best, that the engine's not stuck, so we're gonna put a 3/4 inch wrench on her. And if that don't turn her over, then we'll jump up to a 1/2 inch drive. And if that don't work, then she might be stuck, and then we gotta get crazy. There's no belt, so the only thing that's gonna turn is the crankshaft down there at the bottom. So watch that. Let me know if it turns. I'm gonna put you in the battery tray. Looks like somebody's had a wrench on there before. Okay, here we go. Is it stuck or is it not stuck? It's not stuck. Yes, this is good news. Oh, this is beautiful. We might be able to get this car back on the road where it belongs. I always get the batteries that make you wonder, will it ever start? They're cheap. In you go. Oh, like it was meant for it. There's nothing better than having a battery tray that's not rusted out. I can't emphasize how nice that is. I don't really believe in battery hold downs, but you need a good tray. You want to make sure you do this real close to your carburetor. We'll do the all handy dandy fire test here. Again, it's like it was made for it. It'll be fine. Let's get this thing fired up. Oh yeah, we don't have a key. So we need to get power to the coil. So I'll grab some wire and let's do this. Let's fire this thing up for the first time in 47 years, if the old gal wants to. So we're gonna run power from the battery through this wire. It's gonna go from the battery through this wire that I made into the positive side of the coil. And then the power's gonna come out the negative side of the coil through a factory wire that's already there into the distributor where the points are. And then that's where all the magicness is gonna happen and send fire to the plugs and ignite our air fuel mixture. But we're not gonna connect this end of the wire to the battery yet. Let's see if this starter works. Got our remote starter switch here, which this one was probably made about the time this car was abandoned. We got one end of it down on the starter solenoid, and then this other end will hook the power. And let's see if anything happens. There's a spark, a little bit of smoke, and a faint noise. Come on, AMC/Rambler. I believe in your build quality. It does! We need to get some fuel down this car, which we didn't even look in here, did we? I'm looking at this gas can and remembering why it's melted and there's blue stuff all over it. It caught on fire once and I put it out with my t-shirt. Alright, that was way too much. Here we go. Actually, I should block the tires. I'm not 100% sure that it's in neutral. Unless we want a Rambler in the kitchen. Is this 1962 Rambler gonna run for the first time in 47 years? Parked in 1975. I don't think we have spark. Okay, I think I fixed it. We're not getting spark. Ow. Keep putting my hand on this thing. So, I'm gonna say, I need to look under here. And boy, that's so clean, but the points are probably just kind of fuzzed over. So I'll grab my ignition points tune-up tool set that I inherited, just passed down to me, and we will grab this emery cloth. That oil filter is very convenient. And we'll just clean this up. This piece of sandpaper is about as old as this car's been sitting to. I need two hands, fellers. Let's see if the juice is making its way across the points now. Oh yeah, I can see it. All right, first time in 47 years. Let's do it. Right! Holy cow! I can't believe that it was idling. Oh, all right, that was way too much again. All right. One more time for fun. Probably need some spark, huh? It's like mom dropped the kids off, brought the groceries in the house, and just parked the car for 47 years. A little bit of smoke. Subscribe, because now we know that this car is going back on the road. Well, actually, is the push button automatic gonna work? Oh, and this car might have the airliner fully reclining seats. Turns into two beds. We still gotta figure that out when we get it off the trailer. And we haven't even been in the trunk yet.